Okay, alright. Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick update with the wall because I've made some changes. Okay, so the first thing is Zoro has finally found his way back home. After much soul searching, he's made it back here, which of course meant I had to take down the other Nico Robin poster, but that's okay because it's only down for right now. The poster will be going back up this summer, when Nico Robin is in the most intense fight of her life. Nay, the most intense fight of all of One Piece. Nay, again, the most intense fight in all of fiction will be coming on June 28th. I don't even know what day that is, but June 28th, mark your calendars. That's when Robin is going to be going up against Black Maria in pitched one-on-one, multiple armed lady goddess and spider lady goddess. You know, that's going to be the fight. That is June 28th. Mark your calendars. The other difference is I finally took off that piece of tape, that little pink tape that was on Jinbei's forever. I didn't want to do that because it was going to rip his wanted poster, but I just went ahead and made that decision. And I guess I could put Luffy back up here, but I'm happy with this setup. Okay. Hey everybody, Tekking Barry here. I just had my birthday yesterday, so I'm now 28, so I gotta come to terms with that existential crisis a little bit there. I'm in my late 20s. That big 3-0 is looming over me ever so more. But anyway, this will be chapter 1011 of One Piece, titled The Sweet Bean Code, or the Oshiruko Debt, or the Debt of Red Bean Paste. Basically, it comes down to you don't mess with Big Mom and her Oshiruko, is the general premise of this chapter. Like, if I was gonna summarize it in one sentence, that's what you would get. So this week, we get a cool color spread to start off the chapter. It showcases all the Straw Hats, Jinbei included now, eating ice cream. This is not an uncommon thing. There have been a few other cover pages that Oda has drawn of the Straw Hats eating various kinds of ice cream, except this one has a twist. All the Straw Hats are in the foreground eating ice cream. You got Frankie there, you got Sanji. Robin is hanging out in a giant glass of some kind of pink liquid. I don't know what that's all about. Luffy's eating a giant cone of ice cream. But then you have a giant Nami. Like, I don't know if that's an homage to Attack on Titan or something, but whatever. Giant Nami is in the background just licking a giant ice cream cone. So, that exists now. Yeah, okay, well, let's just go along with it, alright? I'm not complaining, alright? So, giant Nami eating an ice cream. So we start off the chapter with, Kid and Killer on their side of things. So remember last time, Kid and Killer were running off to the edge of Muffin Mountain because that's where Big Mom fell down, but they had to make sure she stayed down. They had to make sure, like, okay, the two of them fighting together is just absolute hell. Even with all 5 of them fighting together, two Yonko is a little bit too much to handle, especially now that Zoro's down and Luffy was injured, because when Kid and Killer left, Luffy was still unconscious, so they didn't know when he was going to wake back up, or if he was going to wake back up, so they're like, we'll go take care of this. So they go to the edge of Muffin Mountain, and they look down, and then they look up, and they see the clouds are swirling, you know, on top of the already crazy sky. It's even getting crazier, and so here, Killer is just kind of like, oh man, this old lady, man, she packs a punch, you know? So we've discovered what happened, and this probably leads into what Prometheus was asking Big Mom in the last chapter, after they were kind of like crapping on Zeus and saying Zeus sucks, you know, he's not good, mama, he's always running off, and you know, he's not listening to you, he always gets captured, and he's just dead weight, really. So Prometheus was like, I have a favor to ask, and the favor was, as we all assumed, can you just make another homie that's like Zeus, that can control thunder and electricity, but is a little bit more, you know, like maybe stronger, but also more obedient, that'll actually do, you know, its job. And so Big Mom apparently agreed, and we do not get to see it in its full form. We see it at a distance. Big Mom has created a new homie, apparently directly out of electricity. So Zeus was a cloud that could be stored in, like, you know, Nami's Climatact and everything, like water vapor that could then summon electricity and thunder. But this seems to be a homie directly made out of just raw electricity, like, so basically one of Eneru's attacks, essentially. I can imagine up on the moon right around now, right as soon as Big Mom gave birth to this new homie, that's a female homie that she named Hera, which, oh yeah, that's right, you know what that means, right? Geography, wait, no, not geography, mythology, that's it. I always confuse the both because I love them so much. Greek mythology references in today's video. So yay, I get to tell you the story of Hera and how she created the Milky Way galaxy with her breast milk.
Yeah, that's a real thing! Okay, so yeah, Eneru, though, up on the moon, as soon as Hera was created, Eneru was probably just, you know, like, amassing his giant automata army. Like, we raid the All Blue at sundown! Oh, I just felt this weird, what's going on down there? I don't know. So anyway, Big Mom creates Hera. We do not see her in her entirety. Do you think she has lightning boobs? I'm feeling that she's probably going to have lightning boobs. Like, maybe Zeus is going to fall in love with her, which would make sense given the fact that Zeus and Hera are, you know, married, but they're also brother and sister because Greek mythology. Yeah, so maybe that might go somewhere. I don't know. Zeus is certainly in the picture. It's not like Big Mom, like, deactivated Zeus, which I'm not even sure if Big Mom can do that, because you think she would have done that by now, right? Because all the time Zeus has failed her. If this was an option, I think Big Mom would have done it. I was kind of liking it to, like, Father from Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, though, where Father created the homunculi, and whenever one of them, like, failed him or went rogue, like Greed did, he could literally just melt Greed back down from, like, his human form into magma, and then just eat the essence of the Philosopher's Stone and just make a new Greed later. I thought it was something similar with Big Mom, but that doesn't appear to be the case, where she can just deactivate even the homies she created with her own soul. It seems like they're permanently split from her, and she can't, like, you know, take that soul back into herself. Which also might explain why she only stayed with creating 3 homies for herself out of her own soul. So Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon, because maybe it's like a one and done thing. Like, once she splits her soul like that and gives them life, she can't get that power back, okay? And it's just stuck like that, so it wouldn't make any sense. She could probably make, you know, dozens of homies out of her own soul because she's so strong, but that would probably weaken her greatly to do that. So at any rate, she creates this new lightning homie and starts charging back to the top of Muffin Mountain, and it uses a technique called Fulgora. And that is the term in Greek mythology, I believe. There's also a Roman equivalent, like a lot of stuff in Greek mythology. It's just the female personification of lightning. And it's a very obscure thing. I think Oda really had to do like a deep dive on this, because it's not necessarily, it's not a god, not a titan or a primordial being or anything. It's just like literally the female personification of lightning in Greek mythologies, Fulgora. And so Fulgora, though, is a giant lightning blast that she just like Kamehameha. That poor Muffin. That Muffin is just getting obliterated in this fight right now. Anyway, so she blasts a giant hole as Kid and Killer are running away. So it's kind of a funny scene where Kid and Killer are like, we'll chase after Big Mom. We got this. Don't worry. Oh, crap. Killer, run! And so they turn. They try to run away. Big Mom blasts the shot. Giant hole opens up in the side of Onigashima. And Kid and Killer kind of get swept back into the castle. Big Mom follows suit back into the giant crater she made on the side of the Muffin, okay? So you guys follow me on that. We're only like 3 or 4 pages into the chapter. Big Mom's created a new homie with lightning boobs probably, and giant lightning attack, and blew a hole in the side of a muffin, okay? And then Kid and Killer are also there as well. Also giant Nami eating an ice cream cone. This is a weird week, but we'll just roll with it. Okay. So now we cut back over to Law, and actually we have Zeus breaking free of Kid's prison. And so this actually gives us a little bit of an idea into Kid's devil fruit power, his magnetism ability. It seems like Kid, whenever he creates a strong magnetic attraction, like creating that box to seal Zeus away, he doesn't have to be like right next to it, and he doesn't have to have full attention on it, but it seems like it does divide his concentration up a bit, or his stamina or something, where if he does get hit by a giant attack like he just did, or if he loses his focus or whatever like that, maybe it has something to do with Kid's hockey, the magnetism will come undone. Law says, oh, he's been weakened, Kid got weakened, that's how the box fell apart, and Zeus finally manages to break out. And he's like, oh, I'm free finally, Mama, where are you? I feel like I've been replaced. Anyway, Law immediately realizes what's going on. He's like, oh crap, Zeus is freed, and he still doesn't know anything about, like Hera or anything. So he's like, okay, Luffy, I'm gonna trust you on this one. If you say you got it, you got it. I'm going to take everybody except you and Kaido. I'm getting out of here, okay? And Luffy doesn't respond, but it's just like, it's understood that, like, yeah, I got this, don't worry. And so, Law uses his room to, like,
pop them all away like that. So, you know, Law takes Zoro, who's still unconscious, and Zeus, and teleports away somewhere into the depths of Onigashima. They don't know. So that just leaves, right now, you got Kid and Killer inside of the Onigashima, as well as with Law, Zoro, and Zeus, and then you have Kaido and Luffy standing alone on the roof, just like he wanted, just like he declared, you know, it's time, you know, mano a mano, let's do this, okay? So, at this point, we don't get to see much of this fight other than just the initial clash, but you can queue up pretty much any video game boss music you'd like. I personally was listening to Rivers in the Desert from the Persona 5 soundtrack. Rivers in the Desert! I'm not even gonna try to... Oh, I already messed that up. I ruined that song for you. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, so that queues up, and Luffy just kind of looks over at Kaido. Kaido gets back up after the thrashing he got last time. He just like, ugh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I could see when the chips are down and your back's against the wall, you just start grinning, you know? That's how you know it's gonna be a good fight. And Luffy's like, I could say the same about you. And so they're both just grinning at each other, and then they just charge. And then Luffy breaks out with a kick, also with the Conqueror's Haki charged in. Kaido takes out his Kanabo and just swings it. And I like the way that Oda interprets it. It's probably gonna look way cooler in the anime when we finally get to that point, but like the moment of impact, or that singularity where like the Haki is so like coalesced that it's like pushing it away, it looks like when Kaido swings his Kanabo, like half of his Kanabo just fades out of existence. Now, like I said, it'll make more sense and it'll look nicer in the anime, but the way Oda depicts it with the manga is just like in that one moment where Kaido's Kanabo's coming in and Luffy's foot's coming in, they both just kind of like get like incinerated and get faded away, and this massive blast is right in the center, and that's all you can see, right? So that's like not really touching, but like forcing back with the force of their conquerors, okay? So yeah, it's a very interesting clash. Giant shockwave emanates from the top of Onigashima, and that's where we leave it at that. I would say this battle, it's probably gonna be a while until we cut back to this. I would be very surprised if in the next few chapters Oda continues this battle in any meaningful way. It might be a situation where we cut away for maybe like 1 or 2 panels where we see just Luffy or Kaido still fighting, like, you know, it might be something like that. But I don't think we're going to get to this battle for probably quite some time. Oda focused on this, you know, with the Supernovas fighting, well, the Scabbards fighting, then the Supernovas fighting, then we cut away for a little bit with Robin and Sanji and their stuff, and then we cut back with Kaido in his hybrid form, so we're probably going to take another break from this, and yeah, we'll wait for the final battle. It might be until the final battle of Onigashima. This might be like the cutoff until the next time we see this, right? So that's all we get from that. So now we cut back downstairs. It looks like that Kid and Killer are probably on the 3rd floor. They got blasted back into the hallway. So the attack that Big Mom used with Hera was so intense that it created a hole that stretches from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd stories of the tower. So keep in mind, you got Muffin Mountain as like the exterior, and you got that big tower in the center, and it has basement levels, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, and then it has the roof, okay? And so it looks like the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st floor all got a giant hole blasted into them, okay? With the 3rd and 2nd floor having the bulk of the damage. So Kid and Killer ended up on the 3rd floor, and Big Mom's not there, so they kind of get back up. They're rocked a little bit, but they're not like seriously injured. The damage must have blasted a hole so big that she didn't know which floor we ended up on. So we're on the 3rd floor. She must have ended up down below on the 2nd floor. So Kid, without missing a beat, is like, okay, we gotta head down there and we gotta cut her off because we can't have her go back to the roof. You know, that's the whole point of this, okay? So Kid and Killer start charging. There's some other random members of the Beast Pirates that jump out and they're like, that's Kid and Killer, attack them! So, not every member of the Beast Pirates is on their side now. Mostly, I would assume that's only the Beast Pirates that are on the 1st floor that were really subjected to the Isoni virus by Queen, and there was still a lot of them down there. There were thousands of them down there, but keep in mind, there's like 30,000 something forces here running around Onigashima working for Kaido and used to work for Orochi. So, you know, on every floor, you probably got thousands of soldiers, and, you know, these soldiers are still very loyal to Kaido. Also, Hawkins is here, which is great because I just did a video talking about this last week where I'm like, man, what happened with Hawkins? We haven't seen Hawkins in forever. I thought Law was going to fight him to kind of resume their battle they started at Okabore Town, but no, it looks like Killer is going to fight Hawkins as their matchup, which is unexpected, but I'm still interested in seeing where this is going. So Hawkins shows up, Kid and Killer kind of have like an interaction with him very briefly. He takes out his straw sword, you know, he has the Wara Wara no Mi, the straw fruit, and, you know, Kid's kind of upset upset by him blocking his way, but Hawkins responds, he's like, look, dude, I was sold out by Apu the same as you. To, give you a backstory for this, if you remember what was actually going on, Kid, Killer, Hawkins, and Apu were all going to get together in an alliance to take on Shanks. And then Apu was secretly working for Kaido the whole time, leaked the location to Kaido, and that's why Kaido came crashing down from jumping from a sky island. I mean, he had to have, it was like, well, I got some time until their alliance, I guess I'll just jump off this sky island. Well, whatever, I'm here, okay, I might as well go ahead with it. And so, at that exchange, Apu revealed that he was the traitor the whole time. Kid and Killer decided to rebel, and that's when they got the shit beat out of them by Kaido. And then you had Hawkins, who, of course, does everything with his tarot readings and his fortune telling. So he looked at the cards and he's like, chance of defeating Kaido, like 0%. Chance of escape, like 2%. Chance of giving up and surviving, probably like in the 90s. So he decided, well, I guess I'm just going to go with this. And that's how Hawkins does things. So he's like, look, Apu betrayed you, he betrayed me. I just had the foresight and the sensibility to be like, I don't want to die, and probably the best way for me to do that is just to work for him, okay? Now, of course, Kid and Killer have the ambitions. They're not going to be ruled by anybody. They don't want to be. They want to be their own pirates and doing their own thing, right? Hawkins is someone, though, that completely adheres to his fortune-telling, and he doesn't want to die, so he's like, I will do whatever I have to avoid that fate. So if it means giving up my own pirate crew, if that means giving up my journey and joining Kaido, if that's what the cards are telling me to do, and that's what the percentages lie, if that's the best chance of survival, I gotta go ahead with it. So they have that exchange a little bit, but they're not going to be swayed to their cause or anything. Hawkins is still going to fight them. Kid and Killer are still going to, reject his philosophy. So Kid decides to keep on going. Killer's like, you need to get going. You need to make sure Big Mom does not get up there. You need to take care of her. I'll take care of Hawkins. And so Kid's like, okay, sweet. He runs off. Hawkins goes into his Gomu no So, his demon face ability, where he just turns into the giant straw monster. Has like tentacle feet in this version, so yeah, weird chapter. And Hawkins is actually really direct to Killer. He's like, oh, it's a good thing you separated because I wouldn't have been able to fight you and defeat you both at the same time. I would have lost if you fought me together, but you separated, so we should be good now. He tells Killer directly, the chance of you surviving this is only the chance of you dying is 92%, so you only have an 8% chance of defeating me and surviving here. And I think you could probably imagine how Killer would respond to that. Pretty much it's the response anytime you have a character like Hawkins in a manga that relies on fate and fortune telling and divination and all that kind of jazz. He's like, there is a 2% chance you will fall and step on a nail today. And of course the response Killer has is like, I don't listen to your fate, I make my own destiny. It's that kind of response. And I'm sure Hawkins has heard this kind of shit before as well, because that's his whole thing is fortune telling. I'm sure he's been up against like, your fortunes don't mean anything, I make my own destiny, and Hawkins is like, yeah, I've heard that before. So they're gonna fight, there's no point in talking, but it is kind of a nice little moment where right before the fight begins, Hawkins just kind of looks down at Killer and he's like, well, if you still want to fight me, even knowing the odds before you, I wish you the best of luck. May luck be forever on your side. And Killer just kind of responds with like, I don't need your damn luck, and then starts up his Gyro Punisher Death Blades, charges at Hawkins, and they begin their brawl off screen. We don't see what happened there. So, Hawkins versus Killer. What do you think about that? That was one of those matchups. I mean, if I moved around the pieces enough, I would eventually have arrived at that conclusion. Like, oh, maybe Kid fights Hawkins. Maybe Killer fights Hawkins. Maybe Law fights Hawkins. Someone had to fight Hawkins. So it ended up being Killer, and it's cool. I can kind of picture Killer using his Gyro Death Blades to just like slice through the straw like it's butter. Like Hawkins is setting all the waves of straw at him, and Killer is just like a freaking wheat thresher, just is cutting through everything. It's probably going to come up with the whole tarot card things, and like it's the Hierophant card. It's Hierophant green. If it's up, Kakyoin lives. If it's down, Kakyoin dies. It's going to be that sort of situation with the cards, and we'll probably find out a little bit more about that. What lies inside of Hawkins' Yu-Gi-Oh deck, how that's going to go. Wasn't there a whole archetype of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that was based on the tarot? Wasn't it like Sartorius and GX they used? They were really bullshit too. They were like, I summon this card, and if it's upside down, I lose or win automatically. It was some ridiculous thing with that. The season 2 of GX was a little strange, but
You know what? It was weird, but I would probably say GX Season 2 might have been my favorite. Weird decision there, but I haven't seen Season 4 because they never dubbed Season 4 growing up. I haven't never actually sat down and watched Season 4. Is Season 4 of Yu-Gi GX any good? You need to let me know, okay? Please let me know. Anyway, so, where was I? Oh yeah, so page 1 is still rampaging, right? Page 1 is still chasing after Usopp and Nami and Tama. They're on top of Komichio, but you do get at least a little bit of an idea that page 1 is kind of getting exhausted. Ancient zones have a lot of stamina and endurance, so pretty much any attack that Nami and Usopp can dish out on page 1 isn't really going to hurt him at all. But you imagine maybe it takes a lot of effort to keep in that transformation as a Spinosaur, and he's like chasing after them and they're running away on Komichio. So you have a scene with page 1 where he's like, you know, he's a little bit out of breath. He's like, would you please just give up already? You keep running away. It's really, really annoying. And so it was a funny scene where Usopp and Nami, because like he's holding on to the back of Komichio's tail, and Komichio, you know, that dog is giving his best. He's like trying to get away. And so Nami takes out her climb attack, Usopp takes out his Kabuto, and they just start beating the crap out of page 1 on the back of Komichio. They're not even using their special attacks yet. It's like literally just using them as blunt weapons. Like, Nami, aim for his Adam's apple, hit him in the eyes! You know, like, just hit him until he gets, let's go. And so they keep trying with that. That's not working. Tama's there, and she's like, we just have to get to the festival hall, the live stage. If we can get to the live stage where Speed was delivering all of the dongos to everybody, so most of the people and most of the Beast Pirates, the Smile users in the festival hall, should have the powers of my dongo at this point. If we can just get to that point and I can announce a command, we don't know what command she was going to give, but if we can just do that, then my role here is done. And Tama even kind of resigns herself where, you know, even if I die after this, I just have to give this command and then we'll be all right. Like, that's the end of my involvement here. So I don't know what command that's going to be, if the command is going to be like, you know, she arrives in the festival hall and there's thousands of the Smile users down there and she just announces a command like, you know, help the Straw Hats till your dying breath, or something like that, or fight against Kaido's forces until they all drop, you know, or something like that. It might be even very brutal. Tama might come out there and just be like, make all of them bloody chunks! You know, it's like, okay, Tama, geez, but alright, we'll do that. So at any rate, Tama's kind of resigned herself there. Nami and Usopp are trying to, like, kind of reassure her that she's gonna be okay, like, you're not gonna die here, but they can't really reassure her that well because the giant Spinosaur is like Jurassic Park 3ing right behind them, you know, trying to devour them whole, and they're really not doing any good job at holding him off that much. There is a fun scene though where Nami's like, it's okay, Tama, me and this old guy are gonna help you out, your Uncle Usopp. And so she's making Usopp out to be like a lot older, and you know, Usopp's like, hey, I'm not an old man, I'm only 19 years old, Nami, what the hell? That's actually one of the few times in the story, in the canon of the manga, I think, like, a Straw Hat actually acknowledges their own age. Because that stuff we always find out in the SBSs. It's just kind of interesting. It would be like if Zoro walked into a bar and he's just like, hey, I just turned 21. Give me a drink, glug glug, because he was already drinking well before he was 21, although I think the drinking age in Japan is like 20, I don't know, but at any rate, this is One Piece, like, pirate era, so you can drink as long as you're a pirate, that's the rule. But anyway, it was a funny scene there with Nami and Usopp. So they now, Usopp decides to bust out some of his pop greens, but the reason he was kind of hesitant to do that beforehand was because his pop greens, as he says, are long-range attacks that deal a lot of damage, but close range they can be kind of a detriment to allies. So he launches an attack called Flower Fireworks, represented here by Sunflora. And so Flower Fireworks, which are basically kind of similar to the snake fireworks that he used against Bullet, just the name is similar, that's what I had the resemblance in the movie Stampede. These Flower Fireworks, though, are basically just fireworks, a giant explosion of fire, boom, right in front of them. But because page 1 is like right there, he takes out his Kabuto and is like, you know, Flower Fireworks, there's a little bit of a backfire effect here where page 1 gets hit, but also Nami is like, holy crap, that's hot, Usopp, and just like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, just, you know, bear with it for right now, my attacks aren't really meant to be close range, but we have to get him off our tail, like, quite literally, he's biting down on the Komichio's tail, we gotta get him off our tail. So then he busts out,
this could very well be my favorite pop green that Usopp has displayed so far, and that includes the Bodhi banana. I really, up until now, the gold medal was squarely given to the Bodhi banana, but now we're releasing his pine cone bombs. Pine cone bombs, okay? So, they're pine cones, represented here by Pineco. They're pine cones that are like grenades. So he's like, just takes a handful of these pop greens and just, take this! Pine cones! And then you just see the pine cones detonate on impact and just blow the crap out of page 1, and he knocks him off the Komachiyo's tail. And it looks like it might do a little bit of damage, but Usopp just kind of strikes the ha face again, like, ha ha, take that, huh? And then page 1 emerges out of the smoke, like, whatever. And the chase begins anew. So at least he got him off their tail, but, that damage wasn't really that much of anything. But still, that's probably my favorite. I love the exploding pine cone bombs. That's pretty cool. Was I the only kid that, like, collected pine cones? Was I the only one that did that growing up? Like, go around and collect pine cones and, keep them, and then you realize, of course, pine cones have, like, sap on them, so the inside of your pockets get all sticky, and yeah, no, I was the weird kid. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so now they're still running through the hall. This is actually a really epic scene. Like, I'm trying to, like, put it in, like, an animation perspective. Okay, so just imagine there's a scene where the Komachiyo is running, and the camera kind of pans out. So this is a big hallway. There's buildings inside of the tower. It's huge. So imagine the Komachiyo's running. There's a building behind the Komachiyo it's running up against. The camera pans out, and then behind the building just emerges Big Mom like Godzilla. Just like the Komachiyo's like, gotta get out of here, gotta get out of here. And then it's just like, zoom, zoom. It's like, ah! And so that's kind of how it happens, where Big Mom just charges, and she's like, kid, stop hiding! It's like, mama, mama. And, Usopp, Nami, Tama, Komachiyo, they all look up, and they're like, oh, we are so dead. We are so dead. We got a Spinosaur behind us, and now we have Big Mom right there. Okay, so she just emerges behind them like freaking Gojira, and they all freak out. Actually, you know what? Tama does not freak out. Tama's actually pretty chill in this regard, Tama's just like, oh, hey, Olin, how are you doing? And Big Mom is also pretty chill with this. She sees Tama and she's like, Mama, must eviscerate. Oh, hi, Tama, how are you doing? Oh, it's been a while. What are you doing in this dangerous place? There's buildings falling down, and the giant muffin is collapsing, and Kaido's fighting up on the roof with a rubber man. This is no place for you. So, okay, whatever, okay. So, Big Mom is, an ally, a friend with Tama still. Of course, they were friends back when she was Olin, back when she had amnesia. Big Mom acknowledges this. She says, hey, thank you for taking care of me back when I had amnesia. So Big Mom recalls that she lost her memory at that point. Like, she actually remembers losing her memory and getting it back, and she remembers everything. She remembers when she was at Okabore Town and eating the Oshiruko and going to the prison. She still remembers all that, okay? It's just, at the time, she didn't know who she was. So she thanks Otama for helping her, and you have Prometheus in the background that kind of explains what's going on here, why 1 second Big Mom was like in a blood rage after Kid, and now all of a sudden she's super gentle with Tama. And Prometheus mentions this is her mother mode, which she sometimes goes into with children, like, so with little kids, sometimes whatever, if she's in a rage or whatever, she'll calm down and she'll actually act very motherly in that one particular instance. The only other time, and this isn't constant though, this isn't always, because remember, Big Mom treated Pudding really, really crappily when she was a kid, right? Because Big Mom was like, oh, you're so creepy, Pudding, mama. So it doesn't always happen like this, only sometimes it happens when she encounters a child, she'll act very motherly toward that child, okay? And in this case, it happened, and so she's really nice. Also, remember Charlotte Anana, who was the youngest Charlotte child, the youngest daughter? Big Mom kind of acted sort of nice to her, and Big Mom was not always very kind to her children, Sometimes, like Katakuri, she was kind of cruel to, like when Katakuri saved Big Mom, and Big Mom was just like, Katakuri, what are you doing? I don't need your help, so she's not, like, super kind to her kids, but every now and then she can be. And so calling Big Mom an ally at this point is, All right, let me just finish off the chapter, and then I'll explain... Where'd my clicker go? Then I'll explain how this is happening, okay? So, Nami and Usopp are absolutely flabbergasted by this. They're just like, what the hell? What in the name of merciful fudge-coated M&Ms is going on right now? This is completely bonkers, you know? And so... she mentions Oshiruko at Okabore Town, and Tama starts crying, and she says, Okabore Town's not there anymore. And Big Mom's like, what do you mean it's not there anymore? Those people were really kind to me. They gave me that little bowl of Oshiruko, even though that's all they had. I really liked that meal. What do you mean? What happened? And Tama's like, it was Kaido and his men and all of his dinosaur people, and he came in and he burned the entire town down. And so Big Mom is like, they did what? They did what? And then Page One catches up finally, and Page One sees Big Mom, and he's like, hey, Big Mom, make sure they don't get away. And then Big Mom just kind of looks at Page One, and at that moment, Page One... Look, man, I don't have anything against you, Page One. I don't have anything against you. You're not my favorite one of the Tobiroppo. You're not my least favorite Tobiroppo, okay? The little dynamic you got going on with Ulti, that's whatever, okay? Fine. But Page One, you're gonna be the first to die. It's whatever. You drew the short straw, dude, okay? You know, I would assume, I would have assumed that you're the youngest member of the Tobiroppo, so maybe you could have been like the weakest by that regard. So whatever, but you're just gonna be the first to die. I'm sorry. So he has his life flash before his eyes at that moment, and then Big Mom charges up Conqueror's Haki in her fist. Same thing Kaido and Luffy are using, same kind of Conquerors, and then she turns to Page One and she's like, even in this world of cruel pirates, there's a code of honor! Mama! Bam! And then slams right into freaking Page One's, I don't know, his solar plexus. Where's the solar plexus on a Spinosaur? I don't know. Punches him right in his underbelly, and he drops. He goes down. I don't think he's going to be waking up after that, all right? And then he got a point-blank Conqueror's Haki punch from a Yonko. Sorry, Page One, you're done. And then at that point, Ulti arrives, like, Pei, are you doing okay? Oh, no. And so that's where the chapter ends. We also have Zeus at some random location. We don't know where Zeus is at, but he's like, oh, I heard Mama and I heard the explosion. That's where Mama is. I got to go back to her. Kid is also there. We also see a scene with him in like a little panel, and he's like, he heard the exchange with Big Mom and Page One as well. So he's like, oh, I know where she is now. So Kid's going to be heading over. Kid's probably going to take this over for right now. I'm not really sure though, but Big Mom is rightfully pissed because they took away her Oshiruko. They disrespected the Oshiruko. And like I said at the beginning, if there's one message to take away from not just this chapter, all of the Wano arc, really, it's you don't mess with Oshiruko. Seriously, everybody's nuts for it. I kind of really want some. I've read the description of what Oshiruko is. It doesn't seem that appetizing to me personally, but I kind of want to try some at this point because apparently the entire crux of this arc hinges upon it. All right, so some possibilities here. All right, there's a few things. All right, so I think the big thing is people are upset that you know, Big Mom just switched sides all of a sudden. All right, so I wouldn't say she switched sides. Certainly something that Oda is doing with Big Mom's character is she is erratic as hell. Okay, that has been established since, like, honestly, all the way back when we first introduced to her, okay? And then Totland, and then all throughout Wano, Big Mom is a very erratic character. You know, she goes into these hunger pangs, and then even when she's not in her hunger pangs, she can still go into rage moments. She loses her memory constantly whenever she bangs her head. There's a lot of stuff that's going on with Big Mom that make her extremely unpredictable, and that's one of the things I think with her character. I can see Oda designing Big Mom's character like, you know, how can I make her as unpredictable as possible, okay? And so that kind of flows along, you know. Do I buy the fact, like, let me tell you this much. Does it not make sense that Big Mom would be upset when she was just told that somebody that gave her food was just, you know, wiped out? Like, they gave her food that she loved and then that place was just annihilated. You could tell me both. You could say she would not care, or you could say she would really care. given the way Oda has written her character up until this point, both of those make perfect sense to me. Like, after she found out that Fishman Island did not send her payment, you know, she got upset, but she didn't burn it down right away. She sent Peckham's, or she wanted to talk to Peckham's and Tamago before she burned it down, okay? And there were other islands when they couldn't give her the food or the taxes, she just burned them down. So, very erratic, very unpredictable. It also does not mean that she's just going to listen to whatever Tama says. Oh, I missed that part. It's a good thing I brought that up. I remember that. Usopp directly mentions in this chapter that only the Smile users are affected by Tama's Kibi Dango ability to, like, control them. So that's already been confirmed. I feel like it would be a relatively easy thing to do to just feed page 1 the Dango and then just solve the problem. Same thing with Ulti, with the, you know, her Dango and Usopp's sniping skills. That would have been easy. So that's very just clearly stated right now. So you can't just toss a Dango into Kaido's mouth and have him just be a docile little dragon. Can't do it. So, I mean, we kind of assumed, but it's good to get some confirmation on that. But my point is, I don't think Big Mom is just going to listen to whatever Tama says. This is the way I see this playing out. This is the way I see this playing out. Big Mom just punched out page 1 and knocked him down. Now, that's either going to be the end of page 1 right there, or page 1 is going to get back up, and then maybe he's weakened now, so Nami and Usopp can take him on. Or it could mean page 1 is just out of the fight for good. Kid heard what's happening. So Kid is going to be rushing to go fight Big Mom. As soon as Big Mom sees Kid, the fight is going to be back on again. Alright? And she might be so swept up in the battle, she kind of forget. Once again, unpredictable. This moment, she's like, they took my Oshiruko! Bam! And then Kid shows up. He's like, Kid, I'm going to fight you! You know, Tama could be like, but what about your Oshiruka? I'm busy fighting right now! You know, like, it could be something like that, where, you know, one side to the other. Like, that's just how it goes with Big Mom's character. So, if page 1 is truly taken out by Big Mom right here, though, that would leave Ulti by herself to deal with Usopp and Nami and Tama and Nakoma Inu, plus other random members of the Beast Pirates, of course. So, dealing with Ulti by herself, with no page 1 to help her, would Nami and Usopp be able to have that fight? Because I still want Nami and Usopp to have that fight. That was one of the first fights that was set up with the Straw Hats, with the epic pose, and like, we're the reptile extermination squad. We'll deal with that. I want to see them have a fight. So whether it be like page 1 is wounded, and so that makes the fight a little easier, or page 1's just taken out, so it's just Ulti by herself versus Nami and Usopp, and it's like, okay, Ulti's Pachycephalosaurus form is very dangerous, but remember, Usopp almost had her captured, and then, like, with the vines, like, melting her away with the acid, and then page 1 saved her. And so, it was a situation where, like, who knows, maybe together, maybe page 1, together, maybe Nami and Usopp can take on Ulti, and maybe deal with just her Pachycephalosaurus form, because the Pachycephalosaurus is dangerous, but it's not as big as the Spinosaur. It doesn't have the raw strength of the dinosaur. It doesn't have, like, you know, it's not, focus is not biting. It can, but the focus is on headbutting. So maybe Nami and Usopp can work together to, like, have Ulti run into a wall or something and then attack her with lightning, and maybe she's not as durable as the Spinosaur is. I don't know, but that might be how we're going with this right now. And so, page 1, I mean, like, I'm sure there were people out there that were really excited to see page 1 in a full battle. Page 1 is like the one Tobiropo that's been expanded the most, because we saw him fight alongside Drake all the way back. I guess Drake, but he's no longer a member of the Tobiropo. We saw page 1 fight against Sanji way back at, Wano when he went into Stealth Black. So we've kind of seen page 1 the most. I'm really not that interested in seeing page 1 in a fight. Like, if you had to end one fight of the Tobiropo really quick like this, I would pick page 1. You know, I would just go with that. So, yeah, or, hey, no, maybe page 1 gets back up and then Sanji shows up and, you know, saves. Maybe it's Nami, Usopp, and Sanji fighting against page 1 and Ulti, or just Ulti. Who knows? Sanji still has to have something to do here. But no, it can't be the thing, because Sanji can't fight women. That was the whole point with, Robin. So, if Sanji does show up, he'll just be fighting against page 1, and then you could have Usopp and Nami against Ulti still. So you could still do that. But anyway, yeah, that's the chapter. Kid's heading there. Zeus is heading there. Hera was created. I kind of was going to go on a whole thing about Hera there, but I did do a video talking about all the trials of Heracles. You know, the labors, the 12 labors, and that was relating to Odin. So I already made that video where I talk about Hera there. But suffice to say, Hera, the wife and also sister of Zeus, the father of God, gods who got around a lot and had a lot of illegitimate children, and Hera was really upset, and instead of getting back at Zeus, Hera got back at all of the children, specifically Heracles. She really, really hated Heracles, and that's perfectly exemplified with the setup for the labors. To give you a few stories here, Heracles ends up marrying a woman and having children and having a nice little family. Hera drives him insane to murder his entire family and then returns him to sanity only to realize what he has just done. And then he goes to an oracle, which the oracle is also kind of being manipulated by Hera, and then goes into the labors. There was the whole labor with the Amazons and Hippolyta, and, you know, Hera showed up and kind of screwed that whole thing over. And so Hera just is like the arch enemy of Heracles in a lot of regards there. But Heracles was named after her to kind of try to appease her, but it didn't work out. And then, yes, there was the one story where Hera was breastfeeding Heracles, and he, you know, that's the story with Odin, like flinging his wet nurse across the room. That's where that comes from. And so it was really rough on Hera, and so she takes Heracles and like tosses him away, like, tosses him away. And then the milk that spilled out, though, fell into the sky and created the Milky Way galaxy. So that's where that comes from. Gotta love Greek mythology, man. Gotta love it. It's awesome. Okay, so at any rate, though, now Big Mom controls a giant wad of electricity named after Hera, so it's gonna be intense, if nothing else. So yeah, pretty crazy chapter, but I think the whole idea with Big Mom doing this, I don't think it's gonna be like Big Mom's just gonna listen to Tama and fight on their side from now on. She's still gonna fight Kid, and then the whole thing with Ulti in page 1, we'll see where that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking, this will be Barry, this will be Luffy, this will be all the Straw Hats except Chopper because he fell down again. Signing out. Have a great one, everyone.